All right, 7 o'clock. Like to call the January 5th, 2026 City Council meeting to order. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilor Eager,
Here.
Councilor Astorga,
Here.
Councilor Donahue, here, Councilor Ott is absent, Councilor Oker. Here. Councilor Bolas.
Here.
Yeah, remember your last name. Deep Holmes, okay, here. And Mayor Val.
Here. I understand that we have a guest.
We do, Jackie, if you would like.
Jackie.
First,
Take the stage.
Go ahead, Jackie.
so I have twofold purpose here tonight. The first is that the last grant that I administered was for the Oregon Humanities, and the project, or at least part of it, was that we paired high school students that were volunteers with area elders, and we spent an afternoon they spent an afternoon interviewing and then created short memoirs. And then we bound them, and that's what this is. And so I have one for everybody here. Mark has already gotten his. And I will tell you that Tristan did the bulk of this work. So I would appreciate you letting her know if you found this, I'm sorry, I forgot. If you find this rewarding, because I think this is I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So, secondly, I just wanted to thank you. Some of you are at my retirement, and I appreciate you being there. I just wanted to thank you for the support, and I know that you're gonna support Dylan. I would feel horrible if I wasn't so confident that he is gonna do a great job. So I know that you'll support him the same way you've supported me. I have to tell you a story. When I think I'd been here about a year, and I finally gotten the collection the way I wanted it, and Don Fleck goes, "Oh, now you can just rest in your laurels." And I'm like, now the fun starts. Are you kidding? So I came here with kind of a vision of what can a library in a small town be? What is the extent that it can impact people's lives? And I accomplished almost everything I wanted. And I was just reminded of the end of Charlotte's Web, the classic book, or if you've seen the movie. She talks about her magnum opus, her greatest work. And so again, I just want to thank each of you and your predecessors for giving me the space and the resources and the encouragement to create my magnum opus. And I just really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Jackie.
We're leaving. Bye.
You don't want to stick around for just one last meeting?
No.
We're gonna check the video, see who left faster, her or Pete. All right, on to appearance of interested citizens, Colby.
We have Jim and Marta that goes. It's okay to sit in here and talk?
You can stand there, you can go stand by Colby.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. This is about feral cats, and I think most of you probably look at the letter I sent to the counselors and so forth. And I want to give a little bit of context that wasn't included in this letter in particular. Some of it will relate to the second last paragraph in the letter. One of the things is, well, first off, our next door neighbor who is most impacted by that, he's out of town on business. And our other next door neighbor who is significantly impacted by the stray cats or whatever you want to call them, is also at a family function and unable to be here tonight. Okay, about 5 years ago, there's a house, a couple houses down from us that I had mentioned in here with a screen cage. They were feeding feral cats, animals and so forth. She would leave the garage door up about this high at night and put all kinds of food in there, and skunks and opossums, raccoons were coming in every night. And so what we did is we set up some filming, some video, and filmed it all happening. And then Charlie Hall was the contact person here for the city. She ended up going to court and being cited under some various charges. And then she was fined, assessed at $2,600 or something like that, and then everything was dropped. Well, the feral cats didn't go away at that time, so I started trapping at that time. And I was getting skunks in our backyard, opossums, cats, and so forth. Well, then a year and a half ago, when I had back surgery, I couldn't cut the lawn. So we asked one of the landscapers in town to come and cut our grass. And he goes out and takes a look. He says, I'm not going to come out with all this. His question was, how many cats do you have? We don't have any. We don't have dogs, cats, or anything. How many do you have? None. And he says, well, I'm not going to go and cut with all that cat excrement out in the yard and get it into my lawnmower and then go and cut somebody else's yard. So anyways, we had to go out before he would come, have somebody go out and clean up our backyard every time. And so the cats continued, the numbers continue. We see them walking through the backyards. We have a nice bird bath out there that the birds come and take their baths in. And a couple of cats will go underneath the fern there and wait for the birds and try and jump up on the bird bed. And so anyways, back in November, I decided I'm going to go back to trapping again. I hadn't trapped since about 5 years ago. And in the 3 weeks that I had the traps out, I caught 10 cats and 4 opossums. Okay. And then I've now given it up, but I've been watching the cats in the backyard, and it's time to go back. But anyways, it's time that I shouldn't have to go out and clean my backyard for this person down the street that is feeding cats, leaving food outside and so forth. Go ahead, Mr.
I gotta pause you real quick. Martha, are you also gonna speak on the topic?
If he doesn't cover what I have on here, yes.
Okay, because I've got 2 options here. I can stop Jim at 3 minutes speaking as an individual, or I can let him go for 2 more minutes speaking for the group.
No, I'll take 3.
Okay,
I'm done.
I'm giving you the option of how you want to play your cards.
You go sit
Thank
down.
you.
I think the main thing that Jim forgot to mention to all of you is that we have a huge home next door to us that's up for sale. Totally cambered, totally. So if any cats or dogs or neighbors or whatever in that yard or near that home, and he has films. So he would call me in the morning and say, well, there were 3 cats jumping over the fence to your backyard last night, but none of them went near the trap. At one point, he found 6 cats under his carport, just laying out. I mean, and he's got this all on film. It isn't just the yards and the amount of feces. It's how sick these cats are. These cats are not house cats. These cats are not, you can't go kitty and pet them. Can't touch them. They've got claws like bears. They're sick. They're real sick. And we can't get her to stop feeding the cats in her backyard because there isn't any law against it, her doing it in Mount Angel. And I've called 5 county agencies and they've all told me, we're not touching it. That's Mount Angel's problem. So we're hoping that you can take a look at the nuisance law we have now and add feral cats. And then somebody knock on her door and ask her to get rid of the restaurant in her backyard. So, thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. Colby, do we have one more?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I just wanted to, fair enough. Okay. With that, I'm gonna pause. And let our city manager / chief of police respond with what's been found since the letter. Is that all right?
Well, so you and I had a conversation and we looked at the code. And I think the code might cover this. We addressed, we don't normally have this conversation now, but in this case, we addressed that before, as you mentioned, with the lady down on the corner. She received a citation, I think she received a couple of citations. But I don't remember all the history completely because that's been quite a while ago. But she complied with the law that we asked her to comply with back then. All which started with a complaint, and we then began an investigation. And so, as a result of that investigation, we were able to take certain action. I was looking at the same code, and it seems to me that one could make the assertion, certainly in front of our municipal judge, that not only does that food, if in fact it is being let out and staying out and feeding all the animals in the neighborhood, that one could certainly make the assertion that it would be also attracting other rodents and things like that as a nuisance, right? So I'm not sure that the code really does need to be changed. But what we need to do is have a complaint, and then we will go out, and it will likely be the same officer who goes out and has a conversation and conducts an investigation and sees if we can get some compliance. Even if that didn't work, then your idea of changing the code, I think there is a section in the code that we could add some language to without too much issue, but it's going to take staff time, it's going to take attorney time, we have to go through that entire process to change the code, which I'm not adverse to, but it's just everything being even, everybody needs to hear that and everybody needs to know that it comes at a cost.
We complained 5 times last summer. And we were told, the officer come to our home and tell us what's going on. And we were told that there isn't any teeth in the law that we have from our neighborhood. We're going to be able to go to the house and say, hey, close the restaurant. We're not walking there anymore. In the neighborhood.
And I hear what you're saying. But we have to approach each individual situation as an individual situation. And I hope that due to some other action that has taken place, that there's as much teeth in it as can be by law, because we have a civil court. We don't have a criminal court. So the fines and the judgments made against someone who is alleged to have violated the law are not as significant as they would be in a lot of other places. So, like I said, I think one could make the assertion, but it's going to be something that we'll have to discuss amongst the officers and see where we can go by going out and conducting an investigation and seeing what we can find. I think this should suffice based on what you have both testified to tonight in front of City Council. But you will likely be called, if we go to court, you'll be called to come and testify as to what you know. And the officer will likely come by and take a statement from you folks and any photographs and any other evidence that we might need conducting an investigation.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Martha. I'm trying to stay in the rules here.
And I appreciate that,
Thank you.
but I hope that takes care of what you were.
I think everybody knows a path forward from here now.
Okay.
All right. Any other interested citizens? Colby, I think I asked this and you said no. All right. I'm gonna move on to reviewing the accounts payable. Counselor Astorga. Counselor Black. Counselor Donahue.
I am good.
Counselor Hofer. Council President Eater.
I have one, what was the Wiltsey towing bill for?
Well. We, in preparation for one of the large events around here, went and took the vac truck and cleaned catch basins and that type of thing. And they'd also done some other work. They needed to go out to the wastewater treatment plant to get rid of what was in the back of the new truck. So rather than drive through about 18 inches of running water in front of the main entrance, they decided to go through the secondary entrance and learned a valuable lesson that as that truck maneuvered through the corner there, the rear end slid out from underneath and went into the ditch, causing the truck to pitch significantly. And rather than the operator take another risk, he was quite concerned that he was going to turn the truck over. He just froze everything where it was, evacuated all the water and called his boss, and his boss went out and said, yep, we definitely need a tow truck. So Wiltsey's came out and slid the truck sideways and put it back up onto the road, preventing it from rolling over. And in fact, there was no damage as a result of that.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was a training exercise, yes.
It likely won't happen again. There.
All right, I had nothing. So moving on to the consent agenda, we had 2 sets of minutes. I will start with the last month's December 1st, city council meeting minutes. Counselor Donahue. Counselor Astorga. Counselor Black. Counselor Hofer. Counselor Eater.
Nothing.
I also have nothing. Moving on to the budget committee meeting minutes from October 22nd, 2025. Counselor Donahue. Counselor Astorga. Counselor Black. Counselor Hofer. I am also good. So hearing that, I would entertain a motion.
I will move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion by Counselor Eater, seconded by Counselor Hofer.
Counselor Black.
Aye.
Counselor Eater.
Aye.
Counselor Hofer.
Aye.
Counselor Astorga.
Aye.
Counselor Donahue. Aye. Counselor Ott is absent. Mayor Powell.
Aye. Next, we have information on our budget calendar. Tara.
Yeah, so before you is the calendar we put forward for this coming year. As always, it's a reminder to mark the first, well, actually all the Thursdays in case you go long. On your calendar, set those aside for 7 o'clock so that we can meet for budget committee meetings.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have the adopting a master fee schedule, resolution 1616. Also, Tara's.
Yeah, so according to our methodology for SDCs, it's written in there that we increase rates annually on July 1st. According to the ENR / engineers something of record, and then the construction cost index, what the CCI stands for. This last December was 3.6%, so that's what we increased our rates by. And you guys got the updated fee schedule, correct? They're not, the red numbers are not the same as the ones below, because I originally messed up. Okay, good, yep, okay, thanks, Colby.
You're welcome.
So the red numbers indicate one are changed or everything is changing?
No, only the red numbers are changing.
And is it index, a regional index, a local index, a national index?
I think it's a national index.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. You'll make a motion?
I move to approve the attached resolution adopting a master fee schedule for services provided by the city of Mount Angel. Second.
I have a motion by Counselor Donahue, seconded by Counselor Hofer. Roll call, please.
Counselor Ott is absent. Counselor Ballet.
Aye.
Counselor Eater.
Aye.
Counselor Hopert. Aye. Counselor Astorga.
Aye.
Counselor Donahue. Aye. Mayor Fowl.
Aye. Next, we have the non-represented wage scales. Mr. Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As promised, subsequent to settling both Lyuna and the police union contracts, I advised council that we would take a little bit of time. We were going to be conducting a salary study. And I would bring before you an adjustment to non-represented wages. So I kind of went off script. Two bargaining units were in negotiations for new contracts with an effective date of July 1st, 2025, when resolution 1606 was brought before the city council. Resolution 1606 was based on the city of Seattle, Tacoma, Bellevue CPI, or the Consumer Price Index of urban consumers for December 2024, a 2.7% increase for only non-represented employees. It was stated that once both bargaining units were settled, the non-represented employees could be made whole at that time. An informal wage study was conducted of 12 municipalities closest to Mount Angel's population, according to the PSU certified population estimates as of December 2024. 6 above and 6 below. The survey looked at the salary or hourly rate for all non-representative positions based on title and to some extent job duties. Since each municipality is structured uniquely, some positions were at or above the average of the whole, while others were under to varying degrees. For the city charter, the city council adopts wage scales in Mount Angel. The city council regularly approves wage and scale adjustments, such as cost of living increases or market adjustments. Market adjustments are not merit-based. They are not connected to performance in any way. A market adjustment should be viewed as an adjustment solely to reflect what this position is earning elsewhere in the state. The recommendation is for council to approve resolution 1617, which provides that some non-represented employees of the city of Mount Angel shall receive a market adjustment for the remainder of the fiscal year 25-26. Meaning that if it is approved, it will begin tomorrow morning and carry through to the end of the fiscal year. There will not be any retroactive pay attached to this. And just for council's knowledge, of course, the scale is here. The cost for the city for January through June, the difference in what we already had budgeted will be $30,767. These increase our budgeted amount by that.
Questions?
I do have a question. When do they usually get their raise? July 1 or first of the year?
So usually everybody gets an increase on July 1st, but in this particular case, we increased, everybody who was unrepresented on July 1st by 2.7%. Because everybody else was still in negotiations, not knowing where we were going to come out. And so this is the most logical point, I think, acceptable point to council, after we settled those two contracts, for me to bring this resolution to council. When we do give more raises, it will likely be at the beginning of the fiscal year, so it'll be July 1st.
You don't have to answer this question, but why would we not go back retro?
I just didn't figure it in because, quite honestly, after the discussion we had at the last council meeting, there's some significant increases here. And not that I have unrepresented employees that are screaming for raises, but I thought that this was absolutely fair.
Market adjustments aren't merit-based, nor they're connected to performance in any way. Do we have any increases that are connected to performance?
Not really. I mean, the only one that's really connected to performance, who kind of goes above scale a little bit, is that man who's sitting right down here. So Mr. Kemp, in his position as Administrative Services Director, is doing well more than what he is being paid for. Operating as, our planning division, as our community development, he's operating as our city recorder and a variety of other things, certainly more than a city manager and a chief of police. So you will see a little bit more of an increase on his side.
Thanks for the answer. I do think maybe you should put out a tip jar while. All that. But
Go ahead.
So appreciate, I think every request for council action that has a significant financial change due to that, it deserves a financial impact statement. And kind of, this is a slight increase in the general fund, a supplemental budget may be needed for the end of the year, supplemental budget adjustment, or what is a supplemental budget?
It's a type of budget adjustment. We have a couple different ways that you can do budget adjustment. It's one.
Jack,
So you told me that.
can I jump in with one question that might answer that question, because we're on the same wavelength real quick? We still budget full load for a city manager, correct?
Mhm.
And so where we had vacancy savings in the PD, we also have vacancy savings for some of this in City Hall because of the hybrid role. Okay,
And we also budgeted for the library director to have full benefits. He has chosen that he happens not to need to use our benefits, so I don't really know how much all that's gonna wash out in the end, so. Yeah. I don't have an exact science answer.
sorry, I needed to, that might help guide where we were headed.
Yeah, it kind of does for me because we're 30,000 over its budget, but we budgeted full max on some things that aren't occurring.
Right, but we also budgeted what we knew. And after we've settled both of those other contracts, now we're moving ahead to make our other employees whole.
Well, and that budgeted number I gave you increased all those full vacancies as well. So I just took everything we budgeted, I put in the new numbers, I didn't And I made some adjustments for what was known, but I still budgeted a full city manager and a full chief of police with the projected increase, so. That's why we're still 30 over.
Yeah, and it's likely not going to be that.
I may not have to do a $30,000 budget adjustment as we get to the end of the year.
I think where I'm coming from, I'm gonna throw this out, agree with it, or disagree with it, don't mind, that's fine. Just tell me what helps me and what I have done in my past business. I like to get information about, on the financial impact, I don't necessarily concerned with current and what happens to the budget. What would help me is get some financial impact would be like the hard dollar increases for what this means moving forward. For example, year one, salaries, benefits, and associated costs are going to increase X dollars, real dollars, not prepared budget, but real dollars. And maybe you might want to go out year one, year two, year three, especially if it's a 3-year contract. That is what would help me. That takes away a lot of questions from me. I just like to see the real increases in real dollars.
And we would be bringing more resolutions to you. Every time we would be looking to make.
The union contracts are for 3 years, so you have a good idea of what 3 years might be. That's my request.
Okay. Well, we can do some estimating and get that back to you.
And then can I extract one other fact just to get it out on the record? These scales were based solely on this informal wage study and do not exceed any of the contracts, but also do not necessarily align in all positions, correct?
Sure.
Is that?
So my understanding is often in the past, what has happened, I'm gonna phrase this as a question, somebody stop me if I'm wrong. In the past, when the contracts are settled, non-represented employees would basically get a Me Too bump. They would get whatever was settled. And obviously with that, in some positions, it's the 1 degree from north, right? The longer we continue to do that without some realignment, some people will be behind and some people will be ahead. And this is not based on necessarily the contracts that were settled, but this is an actual realignment based on each individual. So each individual position has gone up in varying degrees, if at all, to become aligned with the wage study.
And not all.
And not all.
Is that true?
That is true.
So the increases from this year versus the last set of numbers are all different.
So there are some consistency areas. So administrative services director will be getting 9%. Finance director will be getting 13%. To bring her actually up to the average finance director salary. Not the high side, not the low side, but the average. Accounting clerk, 9%. Library director, 9%. His 3 employees, library assistant, youth services, and the outreach and programming coordinator, are all above market and will not be seeing increases. Public Works Director, 9%. This, he's currently 3 to 4% below. This will also eliminate the compression from the union contract. Chief of Police, which isn't filled currently, I'm half and half the other way. So just to stay comparable on the scale, the Chief of Police is at 13.1% to stay even with union increases to reduce compression. Same thing with Deputy Chief. The Deputy Chief position is currently 9 to 10% below the average. So that brings him up just slightly above the average pay. And the Sergeant did not get 13.1%. That position is 9%. And I hope to be able to actually promote someone into the sergeant position. And the reason I left that at 9% versus going to 13.1 is that person will get overtime and will easily overtake both the deputy chief and the chief position with any subsequent measure of overtime. And so with that coupled with incentives, it's best for that position to only receive a 9% increase, even given where it happens to fall on the pay scale.
Sorry, I had to ask that question. 9% to 13% sounds like.
They sound they sound very familiar, but not everybody is getting the same thing all the way across the board. And some people aren't getting anything at all.
Other questions?
Are we allowed to know where city staff is in their steps, all staff? That's something we could get our packet next month?
Sure.
I mean, it's public record.
Yeah.
Like you could, anybody can walk in and.
Yeah, I think it's been given, at least I've seen it before.
Yeah, Chip Kelly makes $2 million a month. Only in his purse.
Do you have a pertinent question, Counselor Donahue?
No, I just think it's important to give our unrepresented employees what they deserve. Very important.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution 1617, adjusting the wage scales of non-represented employees of the city of Mount Angel effective January 6th, 2026. I'll second.
I have a motion by Counselor Hofer, seconded by Counselor Storta. Roll call, please.
Counselor Donahue? Aye. Counselor Ott is absent. Counselor Millette?
Aye.
Counselor Eager?
Aye.
Counselor Hofer?
Aye.
Counselor Sorga?
Aye.
Mayor Fowler?
Aye.
Can I clarify, do you want that in the packet or do you want me just to email it?
Either way, you could email it.
We'll check.
It's your decision.
I think an email, so.
Sure.
I don't know why it would be in the packet not pertaining to a item of business.
Yeah.
We can put all the math together and we'll send the entire council the information.
So it'll come by email.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That means we'll be expecting donuts at the next budget meeting.
Okay,
City manager's report.
that won't seem like I bribed you at all.
We'll work on that. Okay, real quick, I'll bust through my list as quick as I can because this isn't gonna be a record meeting, but we tried. This
Yep,
past
Feral
year
cats.
was a memorable year for the officers of the Mount Angel Police Department, as historical records were actually broken. Your MAPD officers handled a whopping 5,752 calls for service or police incident indicated activities, which is an all-time high in police activity going back as far as our New World Record System accurately allows us to see, which is roughly 20 years. So it was pretty amazing when we were reaching the 5,000 mark, but we actually had 57, 52. So it's a really big deal. Next thing I wanted to mention is according to my logs and memory of anybody I've been able to talk to. Unfortunately, I was out of town, but according to our logs, no fireworks complaints were made on New Year's Eve this year.
It just meant nobody complained.
Nobody complained.
To clarify, that just means there was no complaints.
That ruins the multiplier. It's like if there's one complaint, there's 24 not complaining, but if we got 0, I can't do that.
I wasn't woken up by fireworks, so.
Anyways.
And there were 2 officers on duty.
So sorry to interject, but
It's okay. Everybody should know that well 7 had the installation of the new hyperchlorite chlorine system installed and is currently running with a better management system, ensuring good chlorine levels. The hope is with this new equipment is for us to be able to stagger the operations of our 2 wells. So we're not going to be relying on well 6 full time. Actually, well 7 is producing high quality water. The chlorine system is working as it's supposed to because it's brand new. And Public Works is finding it's easier to dose. And so is hoping that it will be easier to manage across the board, given our 2 different types of water. So that's very encouraging. It is up and running. In fact, well 7 is serving the community tonight. The recent batch of heavy rains brought a higher stream and flow levels, which allowed us to process effluent at a significant level. We were receiving into the wastewater treatment plant well over 6 million gallons a day. And after we did some work at the wastewater treatment plant, actually had a company that had been rebuilding one of our pumps. They came out and hurried up and put it back because it was just sitting on a bench. But once they were able to put it back in service, we were able to actually treat over 3 million gallons a day in effluent. And we did not, unlike some of our neighboring communities, spill anything over into a waterway that was untreated. There were a number of releases in the area and the state as a result of that. And we maintain a good system. And I went out there and drove it today. The lagoons are very low. They're not at a summer dry period low, but they're very low. And I'm very proud of Rich and Alan and the guys for doing everything that they did out there. So kept us well within bounds and get us ready actually for any future precipitation events. So really, really cool. On December 26th, Public Works employees were called out to a sinkhole that had developed in the 200 block of Cherry Street. I had 2 Public Works employees come out. The situation was assessed and it was a sinkhole. They applied a patch on the hole that was completed in a way that would make ODOT jealous. It was really, really well done. And we will be cammering the affected lines in the area just to verify that it wasn't caused due to some type of a line rupture. We don't have any water coming out of the ground in the area, so we know it's not a water line. But we are concerned that perhaps it might have created some type of vacancy in the ground as a result of maybe a sewer lateral or something like that. So we will be using our brand new camera on the end of our jetter truck to check the lines. And Alan he went home sick today, otherwise I would have him speak to that. But if you have any questions, we can certainly get you any answers that you might have. Mr. Mayor, I'm done.
that might be a new record for you at least.
Thank you. Right.
Youth advisory report.
In December, all the schools I think had just a pretty nice, I guess, December. It was full of just Christmas activities and theme days and Christmas days and all that. And then the high school had a food drive all month long. And then the high school varsity basketball teams went to take part in the Pendleton tournament. And then this month, January is gonna be full of just wrestling meets, swimming meets, basketball games. And then FBLA is going to regionals, at Chemeketa. And then we have the end of our first semester, and right now, we just kicked off our honey sales. So it's like a jar, of honey till supplies last for $16. And that's, we're back in school today.
Awesome. What does the honey sale go for?
$16.
What is it fundraising for?
I'm not sure, I didn't get all of the.
Okay,
I think it's free FFA. So.
For FFA?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really good money.
well, that's why I was wondering, because I want a jar of honey, so anyways.
Right?
Should be all.
All right, with the note that I'd like 2 jars in the office for me, please. I will be up there tomorrow. We will move on to council reports. Thank you. Counselor Storia.
Please stop raining.
Counselor Black.
You might cover this, I don't know, I was just thinking about the enterprise zone last time, I was wondering. What's the status of that, or what's the plan? Moving or not?
I do have an update for you on that.
We're still let the mayor talk.
Okay.
Anything else?
I would say, I'll listen to you, but I kind of favor this idea.
Counselor Hofer.
I just want to hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's, and I guess everybody's safe here, or here, except for Alan. He probably picked some up from the kid, but thank you for your scars, and that's all I got.
All right. Counselor Eder.
And maybe pass on down, and there's some street lights on Hayes Street that are not working, like 3 or 4 in the west end. They're kind of sporadic, but mostly they're off.
You know which ones?
I'm gonna say like from Mount Angel Jervis, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
One is working.
The reason I ask is we actually have to have the PG tag numbers in order to report them. So maybe I'll have to have the police go out and check. that.
Sure.
Okay.
And then I will not be here next meeting. I'm giving you a heads up now.
Unacceptable.
And I probably won't be able to Zoom. And then another question about the curb painting. I've noticed several spots in town, if it's half painted and half not, can you park in it? Like there's one right over here.
Sorry.
There's one by Boxer Hardware, but across the street by the secondhand store.
You mean the white line?
The yellow is painted halfway into the between the lines.
It looked like that maybe there was a whoopsie and then they stopped and then they started.
Yeah, if you're parked between 2 white lines, I think you're good to go.
Okay, but only half of it's painted yellow.
I've been here 8 years.
Okay. You can park in it.
Yeah, and if you get a ticket, I'm not afraid.
Okay. Okay.
I know what you're talking about, so I'm like, yeah.
That's all I have.
Counselor Donahue.
Just, being, Jim and Martha Coastal's, backdoor neighbor, I can kind of halfway attest to the cat fiasco. I have a 110-pound German Shepherd, and I know what his poop looks like. And, sorry, not a big fan of cats to begin with, but, just want to say in the 5-6 years that I lived at that house, the cat problem has tripled, quadrupled in our house to the point where garbages are getting thrown into.
Send them my way. I have rats all in our neighborhood.
I thought you were gonna talk about all your barbecues you have.
That too. There's there's my neighbor across the street. It's grease buckets, barbecues. No,
They're feral tonight. I don't know what
They're
they're
getting into
doing.
their dog. That's what's bringing them in, the dog.
I wanted to ask Jim what he does with the cats or when they're in the cages, you relocate them?
I
That's a
think
great
you
question.
can take them to the cat,
No,
so you can't take them anywhere anymore? I don't know.
Actually, you can take them to the Humane Society.
Will they take it?
They,
Now, they're not gonna be
they
very
will,
happy about it.
they will refer you to the
Yeah.
cat shelter around the corner. And if the cat is not fixed, you can pay to have it fixed, and then you can take it to the Humane Society.
I was made aware though earlier today that there are veterinarians that you can make arrangements with or partner with. That once you trap a feral cat and bring it in to their veterinary clinic, then they will spay or neuter it. But then it's up to you what you do with that cat at that point. So you either take it back and release it back into the wild, to enjoy its feral life, or perhaps you take it to the Humane Society. I don't know. But I was told that there's like 5 or 6 veterinarians somewhere in the area that may consider partnering with people to take care of that. That's all I know.
That's all for the cats.
All right. Well, with that, based on the cats, it sounds like we are going to go down a path and then determine if anything else is required. Correct? Dig it. All right, I got a few things. So number one, shout out to everyone involved with the tree lighting. It will be for actually very fun evening for a lot of families. Our chief of police estimated about 800 people, I believe.
Wow.
There was about 5 or 6 activities, a couple local businesses. The activities were free. The guy holding the microphone didn't do a very good job. That was me, but the tree got lit on time. And we had a dance performance that really worked well to hold a lot of attention while everybody was mulling about, and kids were able to write Christmas cards to the towers. That was something that honestly, I'm not carrying, like, it doesn't connect in my brain to have thought of that, but I think it's a great idea. A lot of great things. So everybody who was involved in the tree lighting, decorating the gazebo. The gazebo looked great. I hear it even has doubled as a wedding chapel recently. So great job on that. 2 things to follow up on. One is I was actually able to go speak to the 3rd grade, not just one class, but the whole 3rd grade. To say they're squirrely is an understatement, but it was a good time. We had a little mock activity where they learned what representatives were. And we had a little mock council, and I'd say the council did all right. A couple of the kids got everything they wanted, a couple got none. And the majority of them got 1 or 2 things that they wanted. And I said, that's what it feels like to be a counselor in a community. So it worked out pretty good. It was a lot of fun. It was about 20 minutes, and that's about as long as my attention span would hold. So I can only imagine where they were. SEDCOR came in with Laura from the COG, and they talked enterprise zones. And we had the 5 things that we requested from them before they come back, and I had requested that I be in attendance when they presented to Silverton for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to hear how they answered Silverton's questions, and 2, let's be honest, the way I ask questions doesn't always get repeated appropriately, and I didn't want it to come across the wrong way to our counterparts in Silverton. That, to my knowledge, has never happened. There is a meeting that I'm going to attend next week, where SEDCOR is going to go in and do some more education on what the enterprise zone can mean, specifically answer more questions. And frankly, I feel like, so I will be there, Mayor Silverton will be there. A couple other folks will be there, and I think it's really to kind of get everything out on the table, get an understanding, and honestly be much better prepared when they come back. And so that's my understanding of the meeting. After we've had the meeting, I can report back, but likely I think we'll see them on our calendar again, probably February, March. So we'll move forward with that. Does that answer your question?
No, thank you. Yes.
Okay. 2 other things. One small thing is the Mount Angel Theater is showing movies. So Saturday night for $5, you can go watch Casablanca, check out the theater, so on and so forth. So that is an activity for some families around here if they'd like to.
Wednesday, when did you do that?
Saturday the 10th. I don't remember what time, I just remember it's 7 o'clock,
$7, yeah.
$5. And if there's a large turnout, I think this is something that might start happening once a month, quarterly. I don't know what the owner of the theater has planned, but something new, something fun to do in town. The other thing that is a change, it's a change trying to prevent a change, is I found out that the Chamber of Commerce has decided they are no longer going to support, or no, I shouldn't say support, excuse me. They are no longer going to orchestrate the flower basket program in town anymore. You know, all the hanging baskets and the boxes and that kind of stuff. We found this out about the end of November, beginning of January. So I've personally taken it over. I have gone to, I've spoken with our city manager about the city's potential opportunities to help. Gone to organizations such as Oktoberfest, Discover Mount Angel. I will be going to the chamber on Wednesday, but essentially what it is I've taken the program over. I've made some changes. I'm gonna run it the way I want to run it for a year, and it's either gonna go great or it's gonna go terrible, and there's gonna be nobody to blame other than me. And we will go from there. Discover Mount Angel has agreed to be the fiscal host, since I can't really be taking money in and out, right, Tara?
Probably not.
Probably not. So if you run into people around town, they ask you about the flower basket's not happening, anything in between, or why is the mayor getting his nose in the middle of it? It's because the chamber has decided not to orchestrate it, and I did not want to see it go away. So by the end of this week, I should have a count of how many baskets the program can afford this year. And we're gonna make some other changes, but we'll report back probably in June and let everybody know how it worked out. And by September, I'll report back with how many complaints I got. And we'll go from there. So, anything else for the good of the order?
Couple things. One, I'll take on the end of that. And we have gotten some great support. We've gotten some great support.
Very much so.
And everybody who's been a part of this moving forward, people have been kind of bending over backwards to jump in and make sure that this doesn't go away. Including a agricultural company in North Marion County who said, whatever you need. So
Yes.
I'm very pleased with how they've responded. The other thing is, and Mayor, I don't know if you got the information, but U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley will be holding an in-person town hall in Marion County on Friday, January 9th. And I and the mayor and perhaps anybody else might be welcome there. It is at Chemeketa Community College, Building 7. There is a local leaders meeting happening from 3 to 3:30, which is a really very quick in and out meeting. There isn't a whole lot of conversation that happens there. And then a public town hall, which will be happening in the gym from 3:30 to 4:30. Once again, that's at Chemeketa Community College. So I was supposed to email by 5 o'clock tonight to RSVP. Is there anyone here that would want to go to this that I could tell Senator Merkley's representative that you're interested in going?
What date was it again?
It is Friday, January 9th.
This Friday.
This Friday.
I didn't want to go to that. Dang it.
I will not be in attendance. I will be at Mount Hood Community College doing other things.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Nothing else? We are adjourned.